Welcome to Bite Size SEO News, where I find the top 3 news in digital marketing so you don't have to. Where I make news easy to digest and easy to follow. If you want to read the article, links are posted in the show notes below, so you never have to worry about FOMO. My name is Rich, I'm your host. Today is Thursday, December 23rd, 2021, episode 27. Coming up. Fresh out of the oven are today's top 3 news you definitely don't want to miss. Story 1. Microsoft Bing's Shopify integration now live with Buy Now. Story 2. Meta provides an end-of-the-year update on Bulletin newsletter platform. Story 3. Meta launches new legal effort against phishing scammers. If you're ready, let's get into it. For our first story for today, this one's brought to you by Barry Schwartz of Search Engine Land. After announcing a partnership with Shopify back in October, now Bing's search results are live with deeper integrations. Microsoft said, "We're excited to share that the experiences are live, where you can more deeply integrate your Shopify site so Bing can showcase more diverse products, great services, and improved discovery of deals. With the integration of Shopify, you will now have access to millions of merchants to select from," Microsoft said. You can click the Buy Now link directly in the Bing search results, and it can be taken directly to the shopping cart page on that Shopify website. Benefits to advertisers. Along with an easy way to show up in the Bing products ads, product listings on the shopping tab, and product listings on the Microsoft Start shopping tab, Shopify users will soon be able to take advantage of the integration's new quick checkout option, a Buy Now button on products, ads, and listings. With the Buy Now offering, shoppers can easily purchase the products they are interested in by being sent directly to the shopping cart page, according to the announcement. How to set it up. Website owners and advertisers can easily set up the integration in Shopify. Merchants can quickly connect through the Microsoft channel using their Microsoft advertising account, or sign up for a new one in a few simple steps. Under Sales Channels, click Microsoft and then sign in. Why we care. This integration and updates to the Microsoft Channel app are just another way to help small businesses, retail, and e-commerce find visibility online, as many businesses were thrown into online stores over the past 2 years. Shopify was a go-to platform for many new and first-time e-commerce sellers. It is just days before Christmas, so probably any last-minute holiday shopping is a tad too late to arrive before the holiday, but maybe you want to buy some New Year's gifts? If you'd like to get some more information, make sure to check out Barry's article in the show notes. For our next story, this one's brought to you by Andrew Hutchinson of Social Media Today. Meta has provided an end-of-the-year update on its Bulletin newsletter platform, which it first launched back in April as part of a push to facilitate more connection between creators and subscribers by using the company's massive reach to scale newsletter growth. And while it hasn't become a key competitor for Substack and other newsletter providers as yet, Meta has been making steady progress, and it could yet become a consideration for writers in various niches. As explained by Meta, quote, "We launched Bulletin. We began with a small group of voices to learn how to best support their work. 6 months later, we have more than 115 publications on Bulletin, and we're energized by all the ways this first group has made meaningful connections with their audiences. This is the start of our overall effort to connect people in a more significant way to content from a broader set of sources and experts," end quote. In terms of growth specifics, Meta says that more than half of the creators on Bulletin now have over 1,000 free email subscribers, with many having more than 5,000 or 10,000. Which is reasonably solid. But then again, for a platform that connects almost 3 billion people, you would think that the growth rates would have significant potential for far higher reach than this. That's essentially the promise of the option, and by comparison, these numbers would suggest that around half of the Bulletin writers have fewer than 1,000 subscribers, which is not amazing, but it's still early days for the option. One of the most interesting use cases for the Bulletin platform is facilitating local news and providing an outlet for local news providers, many of whom have been shut down or otherwise significantly impacted by the COVID downturn. If Bulletin can provide a more equitable pathway for local journalists and updates, that could make it an essential tool for many users, and Meta can highlight the ways in which local news providers are utilizing its suite of engagement tools to maximize connection. Quote, Experimentation with engagement tools across Facebook and Instagram have led to subscriber growth and deepened reader connections, particularly in places where appetite for relevant coverage is high. The Kerr County Lead, a local news publication in Kerr County, Texas, hosts Facebook Live videos every weekday to engage its local community of readers. End quote. Meta added 25 local news journalists to its stable of Bulletin writers back in August, whom it's funding through the initial period of their establishment. And again, with so many local newsrooms being forced to shut down in recent years, there could be major opportunity for the platform to become a key hub for such, if it can provide a viable pathway for local news writers to make money from their coverage, while also highlighting relevant news content to Facebook users and feeds, which seems like the most viable pathway for Bulletin's growth. Other newsletter platforms offer similar revenue and connection capacity, but no other platform has the reach that Facebook does, especially when you consider the usage of the social network for local community groups and local news discussion. Bulletin could essentially become the replacement for your local news publication, though it does still seem a ways off from this being a significant viable element. So what's next for the platform? Meta says that over the coming year, it will thoughtfully increase the number of creators on Bulletin as it improves the experience ahead of future expansion. Quote, this will include a number of different topics and types of content, from video first and audio focused creators to long and short form writers and more, end quote. Meta is also adding in new tools and third-party integrations to enable more creative and research options, including a partnership with LexisNexis for data insights, while it's also providing free educational opportunities for Bulletin creators to help them build their own newsletter businesses. Tying your opportunities to Meta does come with a level of risk, with Meta changing the rules on creators and businesses in the past to limit their post reach and shift their incentives based on its own engagement focus at any given time. But it could still be a viable pathway to building a newsletter business, with the reach and connection afforded by Meta's networks opening up significant opportunity, if it can get the Bulletin offering right. You can check out more of Andrew's article in the show notes. Our final story for the day, this one's also brought to you by Andrew Hutchinson of Social Media Today. Meta has launched its latest legal effort to stamp out scammers seeking to dupe people via its platforms with a new federal lawsuit in California against a group that had been conducting phishing attacks designed to trick users into sharing their login credentials via fake login pages for Facebook, Messenger, Instagram, and WhatsApp. As explained by Meta, quote, this phishing scheme involved the creation of more than 39,000 websites impersonating the login pages of Facebook, Messenger, Instagram, and WhatsApp. On these websites, people were prompted to enter their usernames and passwords, which defendants collected. End quote. That seems like a lot of fake pages. Meta says that the group used a relay service to redirect web traffic to their phishing websites in a way that obscured their attack infrastructure. That enabled them to conceal the true location of the phishing websites and the identities of their online hosting providers and the defendants. Meta says that these attacks increased in March 2021, which is when it began working with the relay service, which resulted in the suspension of thousands of URLs to the phishing websites. Which is a good result, but unfortunately, it's like a drop in the ocean, with web scammers constantly evolving their methods and finding new ways to target users in an effort to trick them out of their money, or sell their effort onto third parties for other nefarious means, which is why Meta's legal enforcement efforts are important, adding an extra level of penalty and risk for these scammers. Meta has been increasing its legal recourse efforts over the past few years, as it seeks to deter future scammers by establishing stronger precedents for such crimes, which eventually has seen the courts recognizing the significance of such cases and instituting harsher fines and demerits as a result. Ideally, those stronger penalties will make the process simply too risky for future prospective scammers, which will then see fewer incidents as a result. That hasn't, however, happened yet. As noted, spammers and scammers are always evolving their tactics, which means that Meta and other website providers need to stay on their toes to detect them. But maybe as the internet becomes a bigger and bigger part of our everyday lives, and the legislators recognize the damage caused by such process, that will eventually establish more disincentive for scammers through ongoing legal cases like this, which again is why Meta's ongoing legal cases against such groups play a key role in deterrence. If you'd like to get some more information, make sure to check out Andrew's article in the show notes. That's it for today's show. We've made it to the end.
You're good to go and ready for the day. If you've enjoyed this podcast, please rate the show so it helps spread the news and I can continue doing what I do best, which is providing you the latest SEO news you just cannot miss. Served tapa style, making it easy on the stomach and on the go. Once again, I'm your host, Rich Ung, and I'll see you on the flip side.